don't even really know where to start or how to start. And I waited. It's been 109 days as of today. So it's been 106 days since I found out. My dad died, and his wife and my siblings still haven't reached out to me to tell me that he passed away. I'm feeling a lot of complicated emotions. I don't want to cry because I won't spare him because the truth is the truth. My dad was a deadbeat. He, he did nothing for me besides offer an illusion of protection. I forgot I put on mascara. All right, let's get through this because my tears will not be shed in vain. And other people go through this. I am my father's first child. 1993, he had me. And to be honest, I couldn't accurately give you the ages of my other siblings. I think his next daughter is like she doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. So it was August 12th, and I get a call from my auntie, and she's kind of frantic because the land back in Jamaica, the burial land back in Jamaica, was being dug, and she was confused because only our family could be buried there. So that means someone had died. And people were telling her that it was her brother who was being buried. So imagine you get a call talking about, hey, yo, they're burying on your land. So either somebody who's not supposed to be buried on your land is being buried, or your brother's dead. So she's calling me to find out because, of course, if someone's father died, as that person's wife, you would reach out to his children. The ones that aren't yours, because you know that's what stepmothers do. That's it's bare minimum humanity to alert someone when their parent is dead. So naturally, hearing this, what did I do? I reached out to my sister, his second eldest child, his wife's first daughter, his wife's first child. Because I didn't know we had beef. I didn't know there was animosity there. I put myself in her shoes. I probably wouldn't want to call, even if it was my sister, if my parent just died. So I sent her a text, and it was like, hey, I heard a rumor that our dad is dead. Can you just confirm that for me? Like, is this a rumor? Is this really going on? Is this happening? Nada. I called her and there was no answer. Fine. I sent a text. There was no answer. Fine. I kept calling my dad's phone over and over again, and it just kept getting
My
the
apologies
voicemail.
for not being able to answer your call personally at this point in time, but at the tone, please leave your name and number. I will return your call promptly. Thank you.
There's so many pieces to the story. There's so many pieces to the story. Oh yes, I call his phone. Of course, there's no answer. I call his third child, his first son. It rings once and it goes to voicemail. It's giving blocked. It's giving it's giving out of service. It's not out of service. It's giving blocked. It's giving end call. Like it's giving I'm not trying to talk to you right now. So, yeah. And I'm relating this to my auntie, and then my auntie's telling me his wife is in Jamaica. So this caused just mad confusion because it was like, how long would he have to have been dead for them to transfer the body from Montreal, from Canada to Jamaica? Like, he couldn't have just died. Like, this is where my head is at this moment. But it turns out he had been in Jamaica for God knows how long, and he was dying in Jamaica for God knows how long, which is why there's an extra layer to the story, because if he was dying, why didn't you tell his child? Turns out it was cancer. But again, I still don't have confirmation out of her mouth, out of my siblings' mouths. This is hearsay. This is all hearsay. Everything I'm telling you now is something that I have heard from somebody else. Is something that is third-party information. Because of course, if you're sick, you're thinking, if he's in my head, there's no way he could have been sick for a long time because I would have been alerted. I would have known. And maybe it was him. My dad was a very prideful man. Maybe he didn't want it to be known that he was sick. He was a health nut. He wasn't supposed to get sick, if that makes sense. He was like vegan all his life, almost, or vegetarian. He was healthy. I know they're private people, but this is what happens when you shun somebody. I'm telling my truth. I'm blowing this shit up. Because what they're doing just isn't right at all. And I waited to make this video. I waited because in my heart I was like, they're gonna talk to me. They're gonna talk to me. Eventually, they're gonna call me. They're gonna reach out. But they're not. They're not going to. It's not happening. It's not coming. They're not gonna talk to me. Nobody has the human decency to reach out and let me know that my father died. Anyways, so where were we? They're burying a plot in Jamaica. My little brother and my dad have the same name, so there was confusion. Like, maybe it was my brother who died and not my dad. But how do you navigate anyway? So it is so hard to mourn and grieve when you don't have answers, when you don't know if you're even supposed to be mourning and grieving. It took me like 2 months to accept it. I still even grapple with it a little that my dad is dead, because the people closest to him, the person he entrusted with his heart, the person he signed papers for, the person he decided to spend the rest of his life with, decided not to tell his first child. And this is a grown woman. They buried my dad without me. They robbed me of an opportunity to say goodbye. Like I said, my dad was a deadbeat. We had a lot of unfinished conversations while I was in a place where I accepted him for who he was and accepted the situation for what it was, and I forgave him. I still always pictured him having this. Oh my gosh, I'm ugly crying on the internet. I always pictured him having this redemption arc with his grandkids. Like, maybe he wasn't there for me, but he would be there for my babies when they eventually came. Honoring my ancestors is something that's very important to me. And I feel like I can't properly honor him. They took that from me. And if these were his wishes, he was cruel as hell and never loved me. And in my heart of hearts, I know my father loved me. So I know he would not tell his wife and kids not to talk to me, not to alert me when he was dying or dead. I just there's no way. There's no way. And I just don't understand how as a human you're okay with that. And maybe if I never reached out, you know, I could understand them never reaching out, but I reached out to them. I called my dad's phone so many times. I texted my sister twice, called her. I called my brother, the number I have for him. I just don't understand why they wouldn't tell me. I have another baby brother. They didn't contact him or his mother either. He was also robbed of these same conversations. Now, I can say that I had the opportunity to confront my father for being like a non-existent factor, but my little brother didn't get that. It's fucked up. All of that to say, grieving a deadbeat is already complicated, and having to grieve with all of this unnecessary drama has made it even harder, because how do you navigate it? I would always think before he passed away, how would I react when my dad died, because he wasn't really an active parent for me. I know that when my mom dies, God forbid the day it comes, I'm going to be in shambles. But I didn't think I would be so affected by my father's death. But I feel like a huge part of it is the fact that I feel shunned and dejected. I feel as though I wasn't part of the family. There was drama between my dad and his siblings. When his older brother died, I was the one who reached out to my dad because his family wasn't talking to him. But you see, I I could have never said anything. They could have shut it down. But in death, you come together. In death, you put certain things aside. In death, there's, what's the word? I can't think of the word. But like, certain comportement, il y a there's a way you deal with death, and this is just not it. This is just not it. I just think it's cruel. I think it's cruel and evil. I think that I would never do that, regardless of beef. Like, me and my auntie are tight, and my auntie and my dad don't get along, and it's not like I chose a side. That's my auntie. When my dad didn't do shit for me, she did. I don't know how to navigate my grief very well because it's overwhelming. It's been a stressor. Um, it's like grieving the idea. At the end of the day, even if he wasn't there, he was still my dad. We still had a relationship. He was still my dad. He wasn't perfect. He was very far from perfect, but he was still my dad. They may not, or if it's them watching this right now, y'all may not have seen me as a part of your family, but he was still my dad. And not to play this card, but like, Shauna, yeah, because fine, fuck it. Shonda, he was my dad before he was your husband. He was my dad before he was your boyfriend. I don't know if you remember when we were in Atlanta, but you were in the back seat of the car. He was my dad first. Unfortunately, 50% of my DNA is him. Unfortunately, I have his ways. Unfortunately, I could be as evil as he could have been. So, so please, like, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry, but I don't want to come off as angry because I'm more trying to understand than anything else. I'm trying to understand what would be the reason someone would treat me the way you're treating me right now. And I can't justify it in my head because that, like, what's wrong with you? I mean, I should have known from time when you decided to date and marry a man who wasn't taking care of his other kids. I should have known that you weren't a stand-up woman. But in my heart, I wanted to believe that you pushed him to be a good father and he just chose not to. But no, you were complacent in that. And maybe that's why you feel guilty and you feel like you can't face me. But literally, all you had to do was say, hey, I'm sorry to tell you this. You didn't even have to apologize. All you had to do was say, hey, your dad is dead. It was as simple as that. You still haven't done that. My siblings still haven't done that. And you know what? I don't even want to put it on their shoulders because whilst I had a relationship with them and not with their mother, you were his wife. And you know what? If like if y'all were beefing, if y'all were on the verge of divorce, you were still his wife. And my siblings, it's clear they don't consider me a sibling. They don't consider me their sister. That's fine. But like human decency would be even to reach out to to my aunt about this. Like I just where's the decency? Where's the humanity, bro? Like where's that? Where's that? So yes, my father was buried without me. My father was buried without my knowledge. And I am navigating how to honor him properly. Not just because he was an absent father, but because there's certain rituals, there's certain traditional things that I now cannot do. But mostly I'm sad I didn't get to say goodbye. He didn't get to apologize. Like on his dying bed, if I weren't a present parent on my dying bed, it would eat me alive that I didn't have a proper relationship with two out of five of his kids. And you know what? Maybe he didn't have a great relationship with the ones that he was there for and raised. But I feel like that would haunt him. Anyway, I'm just sad I didn't get to say goodbye. It was my dad. May my tears be libations to my ancestors.